is an historic moment.
Thank you, Conference.
Well, for more on this, let's go to Vicky Pryce in London. She's a board member at the Centre for Economics and Business Research. Thank you so much for your time. There's been a lot of scaremongering in recent months about the prospect of a so-called no-deal Brexit, but now we're 6 months from the official Brexit date and it's looking like a real possibility. What impact might that have on the UK business sector and trade more generally?
I think the expectation of a no deal is rising, which is a worrying thing. It's still not considered to be the most probable scenario. I think a deal will probably be decided at some point. But if there is a no deal, then there is also no doubt that there will be a shock in the markets and the UK economy will probably plunge into recession. Not a huge one because, of course, the monetary authorities will have to intervene, just like they did after the referendum vote, which again was a bit of a shock. But this time it will be a bigger shock because, of course, we will have left the EU and there isn't going to be a sort of period during which we can perhaps sort things out. There will be no transition. The pound is likely to fall quite substantially. Inflation will rise. Possibly interest rates will go up, but they might go down to stimulate the economy. But there is no doubt that as far as business is concerned, they're not going to go and invest in that environment.
And of course, we're seeing this tussle between the major stakeholders here from within Theresa May's own party, but also between the UK and Brussels. So in your view, what type of Brexit might satisfy those stakeholders, the hardcore Brexiteers within Theresa May's party, but also the boffins in Brussels?
It's very difficult to think of what the compromise would be because so far the UK hasn't really moved from its red lines and neither has Brussels. But what is most likely to happen, which isn't going to satisfy anyone very much, but nevertheless is the most pragmatic solution, is that we will complete somehow the withdrawal agreement, which after all was decided about a year ago, which is the divorce bill, which is what to do with EU citizens in the transition period. And it is also, of course, some backstop for Northern Ireland that needs to be defined quite specifically, leaving a lot of the trade agreements to be negotiated a lot later during the transition period. It's not going to be an optimal event, but at least it's going to take away the shock of just having abandoning the EU just without any real warning. And that would be very, very bad for business if that were to happen. So I think a compromise solution of that sort is probably going to be finally voted in because she will come back and present it as the only solution because otherwise it would be a no deal. She's frightened enough people already, and I think it was a bit of a coordinated political action to get everyone to say what a horrible idea it would be in order to silence some of the Brexiteers, the most ardent Brexiteers in her cabinet and elsewhere. But I don't think it's going to be good news for the UK economy, either in the short or in the long run, having such a solution without any serious decision on what exactly a trading relationship will be, and it will keep businesses still concerned about whether they want to invest in the UK or not.
And just very briefly before we let you go, obviously just 6 months to go, I'm wondering, in your view, do you think Brexit will actually happen in that time?
Most likely, yes, politically it will happen. What we've seen in the party conferences, there was a Labour Party conference last weekend and until the middle of this week, and there is, of course, the Conservative Party conference this weekend and on to next week. We haven't seen a serious determination by Labour to really call for another referendum. I think that would be the way that perhaps you can stop this. But also there is still a possibility that when Theresa May comes back with a deal which is going to be pretty vague, it may be turned down by government, voted down by the Parliament, voted down by the Parliament, and there could be either a general election or a request to extend Article 50. Yes. In other words, that the letter that's been sent, which said 2 years of departure from when she sent it, that could be extended. It's running out at the end of March. All these things are still possible, but not very likely. The most likely scenario is a compromise deal.
Interesting. So much uncertainty ahead. Vicky Pryce, thank you for your insights.